What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome back to MKO Boxing, aka MKO Pugilism, where we talk all things boxing. Like and subscribe on YouTube, follow on TikTok, all that good stuff. So let's get into this one. So, yeah, earlier this week we received the news, the whole boxing world received the news that Terrence Bud Crawford is calling it a career. He's officially now retired from boxing and he's hung up his gloves. His final record now, if this retirement is final, 42-0. He's been undisputed champion in I believe it's at least three different weight categories. Unified champ, he's been champ, lightweight champ, came all over to Scotland, beat Ricky Burns. He's Victor Postol. He's beat a who's who. He's proven himself time and time again. Five weight division world champion. When you think about this guy's achievements, absolutely phenomenal. The guy, is from like lightweight, and his last fight again against Canelo for all the marbles, undisputed at super middleweight, 168 pounds. So he's got to be, for me, a first ballot Hall of Famer. Got to go in Canastota. He's a guy that pretty much clocked the game of boxing, done everything that could be done. There were times in his career where he's basically blackballed. The PBC fighters didn't want to fight him. He couldn't get Spence in the ring, Garcia, none of these guys during his time. And that's kind of the only thing you can say about his resume, really. I don't think you can really have much criticism in it, because a lot of the times and the guys he wanted to fight didn't want to fight him. He was on the wrong side of the street and all that crap that they were doing, where they were sort of blackballing him over there. But at the end of the day, one thing about him, he got the top dog from the PBC, the top guy, unified champion in Errol Spence Jr. He got him in the ring eventually. And when he did get him in the ring, he absolutely destroyed Errol Spence. It was a one-sided beatdown. Beat Sean Porter on the way to doing that. And went on to put on an absolute masterclass against Saul Canelo Alvarez. And going into that fight, I admit I picked it wrong, because I just assumed the size of Canelo and the weight and everything. I just assumed that probably would be a bit too much of a jump for Terrence Crawford, because the irony is, as dominant as he was against Canelo, the previous bout where he fought Israel Madrimov, that fight was a close fight. In that fight, he didn't look so invincible. He looked to have made mistakes in there, and it wasn't a perfect performance against Madrimov. I thought he deserved the win, but it was a narrow win. So when the next move was another two divisions above against Canelo, I just thought, well, he might get beat here. That's what I thought. I thought he was going to get beat, but he defied all the odds. And not only did he beat Canelo, but he gave Canelo, it was just a masterclass. It was one of his finest performances. He didn't run away from Canelo. It wasn't the type of Floyd Mayweather performance, which was also a masterclass. But Floyd done it standing there, lots of, you know, man like Crawford. Crawford was right there with him in the pocket. Faster hands, faster feet. Absolutely brilliant performance, masterful. And to be fair to Terrence Crawford, there's not really any other fights out there that are going to be able to. There's not any other fights actually. Period. There is, from what I see of the landscape now in boxing, there is no other fight that's going to be as big as or bigger than his fight with Saul Canelo Alvarez. And I suppose he was talking about fighting Yanni Beck, Alim Kanuli, I think that's how you say his name, the middleweight champ, but then he popped dirty for PEDs. So, Crawford was planning to drop to middleweight, 8 pounds below, and then fight that guy and then become unified at middleweight. But you know, now since that guy popped dirty, there's not really anyone else down there of any note, you know, of any real financial value for Terrence Crawford. And it's like once you've tasted the millions from Canelo, you're not gonna want to downgrade your pay to fight someone else who you're not bothered about. So great news for Terrence Crawford. He retires and he does what I love to see boxers do, which is you get your greatest win, your biggest win, and you go out on top. You go out on top. You retire from boxing, boxing doesn't retire you. And, you know, fantastic career by Terrence Crawford, 42-0, undefeated, undisputed champion in like 3 different weight categories. I mean, that achievement on paper alone, this is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and surely one of the greatest fighters I've seen in my lifetime, and you know, absolutely one of the greatest of this generation. He's definitely for me an all-time great. May not be the absolute greatest, but he puts himself in that conversation of being an all-time great. Proved himself to be the best of his era, which is all you can really do in boxing. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on this, the retirement of Terrence Bud Crawford. It's kind of sad we won't get to see him again, but at the same time, I'm very happy for him that he leaves boxing at the very, very top. So let me know your thoughts. Until next time, MKO Boxing, over and out.